All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA regular season video. In this video, we're going to talk about the end of the season. There's only 10 games left, so I want to give some end of year, end of season predictions, how things will shake out. I want to talk about the best in the conference, the worst in the conference, and we'll finally be able to talk about some play-in stuff now that we're getting more of a clear picture of what the play-in could look like. So if you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So first things first, let's go through the standings because I've gone through the standings in a couple of the videos recently about the NBA, and they've all been sort of I've just gone over them, just grazed over them a little bit. Especially in the West, it's super tight out there. There's like, what is this, like a game and a half, a game separates. You could be the three seed down to the what is this, the five, even the seven. So it's really interesting out there. I do want to talk about the East, however, because the East is also super interesting. Because I was thinking about this um, after we learned that Cade Cunningham is going to miss an extended period of time with a collapsed lung. They're the Detroit Pistons, top left of your screen, I believe. Yeah, top left. Um, 52-19, and they're the only team to have, I believe that's the clinched. Yeah, clinched a playoff berth. They're the only team to have clinched the playoff berth in the East as of this moment. Um, Overall thoughts about the Pistons. I said this in my video when we did it at midseason when I went over my predictions. I didn't think they'd be this good. I thought maybe they would take a little step back. They were missing some of their key pieces from last year. They did try to bring in some other players that would subsidize the stuff that they were going to miss from the players that left the team or were no longer on the team. And I thought, oh, it could work. I don't know though. I feel like the Knicks were going to be better. I felt like maybe the Cavs would be better, especially after the Cavs started amazingly last year. Um, but they proved me wrong. They've been very good all season. Even without Cade, I believe they just beat the Lakers um, in a really close game. And I want to say everything has gone right for them. They've made the best out of a just okay situation. Like, in no way, shape, or form do I think they will be the best team in the playoffs, even though they are the number one seed right now and probably will go into the playoffs as the number one seed. But I just don't see their team having enough star power, and that's sort of what these matchups come down to. When they played the Knicks in the playoffs last year, it really came down to star power. They fought tooth and nail for every possession, both offensively and defensively. But at the end of the day, it just couldn't get it done because the Knicks have more star power. Now, will they run into that problem again in the playoffs this year? Probably. But ironically enough, I feel like they're better around the edges than they were previous to last year. Or not previous, in the previous year, in their previous playoff run. If we go look at the roster right here, we'll go through the names. I like to do this. What names do I like on these teams, right? And this we're not going to do this for every team, but just for some that I think it's needed for. Pistons roster as of right now after the trade deadline: Cade Cunningham, love Cade. Jalen Duren, love Jalen Duren. Javante Green, hit or miss, I don't really care. He could be out there. Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris has been winning me over. When Tobias Harris is on a reasonable contract and he's not on that whatever deal the Sixers gave him, he's a nice bet. He's a nice role player. Good. Ron Holland, really like Ron Holland. They got Kevin Herter. Kevin Herter's a great shooter. I'm not sure if he's been shooting great this season. Dennis Jenkins, really coming around to like Jenkins. Bobby Klitman, like him. Karis LeVert, eh. I could do without Karis. If there's one person I could do without on this team, it's Karis LeVert. Like Duncan Robinson, like Marcus Sasser, like Isaiah Stewart, like Asua Thompson. They got a bunch of guys that I like. And in a grinded out series, having to play, well, let's see here. Let's go look at this. Let's say they have to play the 8 seed right now. If they had to play the Magic right now, right? Would I take the Pistons over the Magic? Yes, I would totally take the Pistons over the Magic. And I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. If you would have asked me before the season, I would have taken the Orlando Magic over the Pistons every time except like Sunday. But the Detroit Pistons are here. They're great. 52-19, really good season for them. Boston Celtics getting their star player back, sitting at number two in the Eastern Conference, 47-24. I don't really have a lot of thoughts about Boston. Uh, some of the things like everything would have to roll right for them to get back to at least the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they're a really good team. They're really well put together. Some of the Jason Tatum stuff makes me worried. I'm not sure if he's all the way there, and I'm not saying he came back early. I think anybody who says he came back too early is talking crazy because if the Celtics cleared him, if the medical staff cleared him, if he felt well enough to go out there, he should be out there. That's my feeling on it. Nobody forced him to go out there. Was it a um, Herculean turnaround for him, only missing not even a full season of basketball? Yes, very impressive. But I'm still worried about some of the stuff with him. I'm not sure him and Jalen work quite well to get like that synergy needs to get back to where it was pre-injury, and that's only going to come with time and with with 12 to 10 games left in the season, and then you got the playoffs. I'm not sure it's going to come back in time. Could they get really hot at the right time and just blaze their way to the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe in the finals? Yes. Same thing with the Pistons. I don't feel like they have this team isn't a championship team. It's a very well-rounded team. I like Derek White. I like Peyton Pritchard. I like a lot of their guys on that team. But the duo, I'm not saying it's a bad duo. I Jalen Brown has turned my mind around about his play style and the way he plays the game and where his ceiling is. Hats off to him. But bringing Jason back and the synergy and them playing off each other, I don't know if it's going to be ready in time for the playoffs because at the playoffs they're gonna go at Jason. Jason's going to get picked on, and I've watched a couple of his games since his return. He still isn't moving quite as well as he did, both laterally and horizontally. He just isn't moving well. He's still a great post defender. If he has to guard somebody that's his size, he's still really good. It's the smaller guys. It's the switches. It's the getting dragged out to the perimeter that is also going to have to come with time. And uh, I think that's where their limitation is. Is it's a gift to have Jason back, but it also hampers them a little bit. So that's how I feel about them. Otherwise, an amazing season. Like truly, I did not think the Celtics would be this good. I thought they would play like the first half of the season, and then like by the middle half they'd be like, let's shut it down, let's tank, and they didn't do that, and I gotta respect it. They didn't tank. Um, they're still playing hard. They're still playing Boston Celtics basketball, and they're gonna have home court advantage in the first round. So, congrats to them. The Knicks at 24 and 25. Not 24 and 25, 48 and 25 um, on the season thus far as the recording of this video. Where do I start with the Knicks? It's been such a roller coaster this year. Sometimes I feel like they look really good. Other times I'm shaking my hands like these are the same things that you ran into last year. You have arguably a more well-rounded team, um, right? A deeper team and a coach that will play the bench more. Going through the roster very quickly: Jose Alvarado, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Jordan Clarkson, Pacome Patadier, Mohamed Diawara, Josh Hart, Ariel Hukporte, Trey Jamison, who I don't think I've actually seen play, Tyler Kolek, Miles McBride, Kevin McCullough, Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet, Jeremy Shohan, Karl Anthony Towns, and then at the end of the bench you have Dylan Jones and Tyler Kolek. Um, I would say if I go look at is this the deepest team? I would say this is the deepest and most competent team. And by competent, I mean like the bench has one play style, the starters have one play style, but on the defensive end, they're very good and they're very consistent. Now, does that defense get holes poked in it often? Yes. Do I still not like Karl Anthony Towns playing the five? Yes. Does he still foul way more than he probably should? Yes. But I'm not worried if Karl's not out there. I'm not. Maybe in certain matchups I'm worried, but otherwise, like if I can trust a couple guys for a playoff series, right? At the most, at the least 4 games, at the most 7 games, right? let's say Karl-Anthony Towns is having a terrible series, right? I can trust Jose Alvarado to do his thing. I can trust OG. Mikal Bridges is sort of souring in New York, and a lot of fans aren't happy with his play recently. Jalen Brunson, I can trust. So that's one, two, three people. That's three people I can trust. Jordan Clarkson doesn't play anymore, so I don't have any thoughts on that. Mohamed Diawara, you can trust to just stand in the paint and be big. That I can trust you for that. So that's four. Josh Hart 5. Eric Porte same thing 6. Tyler Kolek 7. Um, Mitchell Robinson, if he wasn't a foul free throw shooter liability, I would trust him. Landry Shamet set was at 6'7", 6'7". Um, yeah, so I have 7 people I can trust, and there's a mix of like guards and forwards and centers in here. I think that's really good, and they've all gotten a lot of experience this season. Thanks to Coach Mike Brown, who's played the bench a hell of a lot more than Tom Thibodeau probably would ever have played this bench. Even though it's much improved since last year. If I could trust 7 guys on a roster, and that's usually what a playoff rotation is like 5 to 7 guys, I think we're okay. I think they're okay. And I've said it before. I've said it, I forget who I said about the Rockets. I was like, it's not a big worry if they don't win a championship. On the flip side, I think it's a very big deal if the Knicks don't even get to the finals. Like the finals is the goal. Like they've hit every other marker, every other goal that they need to make, but they need to make it to the finals. And if I have to compare them to the Pistons, the Celtics, I get a little worried. But everybody else beneath them, I feel a bit more comfortable. I feel just a slightly bit more comfortable um, with the rest of the confirmed, we'll say, quote unquote, 3 playoff teams. And then you obviously have the playing teams that are yet to be determined. Um, Moving on to the Raptors. The Raptors have been so. Oh wait, pardon. Moving on to the Cavs. I went out of order there. Cavs basketball, man. I've been sitting here at this desk for however long the season's been, and I've said, man, I'm so worried. The only thing I worry about, and this is before the James Harden trade, but I'm so worried that they're never gonna have their full team at all this season. Like throughout the regular season, I'd be surprised if their whole like team was fully healthy. Everybody played, and it still hasn't happened. I don't think there's been a week or a game where everybody's been healthy. Maybe there's one that I can recall, but it hasn't hampered them too much. It's been a next man up mentality sort of season for them. In comparison to last season, it's been very shitty. It's been very bad. But same thing with the Knicks. They've discovered something with their bench. They've discovered some names you would have probably not seen last year. They've acquired some pieces that around the edges that really help them. Right now, sitting at 45 and 27. I look at all these names and I like a lot of these names. I really do. We're not going to go through them like we did with the other ones, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's like 12 people on this roster I really like. And then there's like some other bits and pieces I'm like, I'm not so sure about, but 12 pieces I really like. James Harden is, I won't say fit seamlessly, but has fit almost seamlessly onto this team. Him and Donovan Mitchell sharing the workload. That's exactly what I've been asking of anybody who shares the backcourt with Donovan Mitchell. Is just you have to bring some of the pressure off Donovan. You have to let Donovan do his thing, not take anything away from him, but just take the pressure off of him. Take the doubles away from him. Try to make the other team think so they just can't throw doubles. They can't throw a weird zone at Donovan. They can't just throw their best defender on him. You have to you have to make sure that he is at least 80%, like 80, like he's ready to go 80% when it comes to the fourth quarter. Because there have been times I've seen him in the fourth quarter where he's about 20%. And he is gassed, his legs are dead, he's tired, and he still makes some amazing plays. But in the playoffs, the pressure's going to get a lot more. So if James Harden, a notorious playoff sinker, can at least just show up a little bit, like he did with the Nets all those years ago now, just show up, just do something, then I think this team has a really good chance of going deep in the playoffs. And matchup wise, I think they're hell for a lot of these other teams in the East. And that is the top four for the East right there. Going through some of these other teams, um, Toronto's just been really weird. They started the season really good, and I was really proud of that prediction that I thought they'd be a really good East team, and they have been. They've just been like sort of treading water. They've been in a couple close games, and I said this at midseason too. I think after this season, this is a really good step forward for the Toronto Raptors this season as a whole. After this season, you need to start thinking about some offloading some draft picks, some former draft picks that you've had, some guys that just haven't worked out. Um, get off of one or both Emmanuel quickly and RJ Barrett just to free up some money a little bit and really start moving this team in the right direction because you're already heading in that right direction. It's just you need to keep going, you know. I could see this Toronto Raptors team being next year's, well, this year's, but next year's Detroit Pistons team, where the Pistons last year were really good, and then this year they've taken a really big step. I can see that for the Raptors as well, where they've been really good this season, and next season that's when they take the really big step. You know, keep heading in that direction, keep doing great things. Um, I love Scotty Barnes. I love Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram seems like this. I don't want to say this is the best version of Brandon Ingram, but this is the most comfortable Brandon Ingram has been. With sharing the court with a guy like Scotty Barnes, um, and just being free. You know, there doesn't have to be like a certain hierarchy. It's just like well, who's ever hot that night is gonna get the ball, and that's how this team is gonna work, and it's worked out beautifully. And then they're sitting at right now 40-31, so they're 5 games back from the 4 seed. So I don't think they're going up anymore unless they go on a really crazy run. Speaking of crazy runs, the next team up 40-32 on the season, sitting at 6 right now, the Atlanta Hawks, um, on the upward tick after recovering from multitude of injuries, the Trey Young trade, the Kristaps Porzingis trade, getting Jonathan Kaminga, and just having a if maybe yeah, I would have to give it to them. Or that's kind of just that's unfortunate. I would say the Hawks have had the weirdest season. The weirdest season award goes to the Hawks this year, for sure. Just a weird season. Just the highs were so high. Even I had them picked really high to be the top of the Eastern Conference, and they just haven't managed to get there. They had so much go left. They traded Trey Young. They got Jonathan Kaminga. They traded Kristaps, and now it's sort of started to go right with Jalen Johnson and with all the other guys on the roster. And they've been on the uptick. And if they can escape the play-in, I think that's the best case scenario for them is escape the play-in, get to 5, get close to 4, make the Cavs sweat it out a little bit, you know. And then maybe, just maybe, you can go on a nice little run. I'm not saying they're going to make the conference finals. I'm not saying they're going to make the finals, but for a team that has such a weird season, I think coming together like this in different variations of different ways, and Gwen Snyder, what he's been able to do, I mean, he's had some really bad games as coach, but had some really good ones, has been impressive. And I, the next step for the Atlanta Hawks is weird because I don't see them. This version of this Hawks team is a different one from the one that I thought it was in the beginning of the season, obviously. I don't know if they're a top Eastern Conference team. I think it's just time. Waiting for Jalen Johnson to get better, waiting for maybe Dyson Daniels' shot to come back around. Nikhil Alexander Walker has been a superb player for them this season in a new role on a new team. He's been really great. Um, it's just time. The Hawks need time. And it feels like the timeline was so sped up with Trey Young. And now they can, I'm not saying take a step back, but being around here isn't bad. Being around, let's say, 3 to 6, 4 to 6 every year for, not every year, for like the next 2 years isn't bad. I think that's positive progression for this Hawks team. And now we move into the play-in teams of the East. I don't have a lot of thoughts on these teams, but I do want to give some like thoughts on what these matchups could be. Philly's at number 7 right now. Orlando's at number 8. Philly's 39-33. Orlando's 38-34. And then following those two teams is Charlotte at 9, Heat at 10, um, 38-34 for the Hornets, and 38 and 34 for Miami, so they're tied. There might be a tiebreaker involved in that just for historical reasons, like numbers reasons. But if they end with the same record, then they're just going to stay here in the play-in anyway. um, Thoughts? Philly versus Orlando in a play-in game. Win or go home. Right? Win or go home. Yeah, win or go home. Right? Yeah, it's win or go home. Yeah. Um, the way Philly's been going, man. Tyrese Maxey's out. Um, Joel's. I don't know where Joel is. Has he played basketball recently? I don't know. Um, Paul George suspended. I literally Paul George has not entered my mind in the last 3 months because he has been suspended, and that's fine with me. Um, and Orlando, no Franz Wagner. The team is still very weird. They started somebody the other day, and I was like, who is this guy? I've never seen this guy in my life. And I watch the NBA. Like I sit down and watch games, and I know rosters. And I saw this guy in the starting lineup, and I was like, who the hell is this? Who is this? And he played okay. I saw him on the screen a lot. You know, I had the volume off, but I saw him jumping. I saw him doing the right things. But I was like, who the hell is this? And it made me shake my head because I'm like, if there's a team that was close to being lost and sort of found it again, it was Atlanta. The Atlanta Magic, I think they fully lost the plot. And I'm speaking as somebody who had them. I wanted them to be the best team in the East. I thought they had that potential. I thought, hey, one of either Apollo or Franz is going to get a 3-pointer. At least it's going to be sustainable for a season. It's going to be fine. They're both going to be healthy. They have Desmond Bain. They have Jalen Suggs. They have Wendell Carter. Um, it's going to be fine. And if it couldn't go any worse, it's gone even worse than that. And there's I don't care if they make the playoffs, if they win all their play-in games, if they beat Philly in the play-in, hypothetically. There's gonna be need some reorganization of this Orlando Magic team because this is like last year. Last year they were better. They missed the play-in. They were in the playoffs. They were locked in, and now they regress back to down here. Um, I, they probably won't reshuffle the roster. They'll probably just fire the coach, which is what always happens. But I think both needs to happen. I think you need to get rid of one of Paulo or Franz, probably Franz at this point, maybe even Paulo. Um, Reshuffle the deck. Try to do something else different with the coach. Hell, it sounds so stupid, but bring Doc Rivers in. He's supposed to not want to be in Milwaukee anymore as a coach. Send him back to where he started his career in Orlando. Let him coach the team for a little bit, and then actually go find somebody when the market opens up. Or hey, go get Michael Malone. Michael Malone is still without a job, and he's on TV right now. Like he's on inside ESPN, whatever the hell it's called, the ESPN post pregame and halftime show. I don't want to see him on TV. I want to see him coaching. So go get Michael Malone. That's what I would say. Um, but the a play and matchup of these two teams that have just gone horribly wrong. Um, I will say this. I will pick the Sixers only because they have Tyrese Maxey. And if Tyrese Maxey is healthy and he can go off for one game against the Orlando Magic, it's an easy win for Philly. And then down here, Charlotte versus Miami. Bam Adebayo, 83-point man, versus this team that's been trying so hard in the Hornets. They went on a crazy tear, and they still are in the play-in. Um, Man, oh man. I'm gonna pick the Hornets. I'm gonna pick yeah. I'm gonna pick the Hornets. I haven't seen too much Hornets basketball. I've seen a lot of the highlights. Um, but I believe in this Hornets team a little bit. And there's something about LaMelo, and somebody else said this on another platform. I forget who it was. But something's changed in LaMelo. He's still doing the stupid stuff they always does, but he seems more composed, seems more in control, and he's taken a small step, be it, but a good step, in the right direction of being an NBA point guard. And I think that's more than what Miami has, and Miami's been beat up by injuries. Every time I turn on Miami game, it's just like a who's who of like, Oh yeah, right. They drafted that guy 2 years ago. Oh, he's out really still. It's just having good for Miami. Um, Miami's another team that might be lost, but that 83 point game really helped the morale. So yeah, my team's moving on into the playoffs. If it started today and I had to pick these matchups, um, would be Orlando and Charlotte. Yeah. Oh no, not Orlando, Philly and Charlotte. Yeah, Philly and Charlotte. Yeah, Philly and Charlotte. Yeah. So yeah, so the Celtics or the Pistons will be playing Philly or Charlotte. I think that's good. That's pretty well. Um, the bottom of the conference, just to go through it real quick. Milwaukee 29-42. What's going on, Milwaukee? That's the real question. What's going on? What's going on? Chicago still an NBA team somehow, 29-42, and then these teams have officially been eliminated. Sub 20 win seasons for them. Brooklyn Nets, Washington Wizards, Indiana Pacers, Pistons, and Wizards will hopefully be atop of the conference next year, returning to the top of the conference for the Wizards for the first time since the John Wall era, and for the Pacers uh, returning hopefully next year from their previous playoff finals run um, last year. So, yeah, that's it. Moving on to the West. Man, oh man, where do I start with the West? The West is tight. It's really tight. I'm just gonna go through the numbers really quick here, and then we'll talk about the teams a little bit. Oklahoma at 1, 57-15. Spurs 54-18. Both have clinched a playoff appearance already. And then now we get to where it's real tight. Lakers 46-26. Denver 45-28. Minnesota 44-28. And then Houston 43-28. And right on the cusp, if Phoenix can just get a couple more wins in, 40-33. So from 3 to 7, if you go on a bad streak right now, if you lose 5 games in a row, you split your games, you could realistically be in the play-in. And if the every other team does well, it's crazy right now. To start with Oklahoma, top right of your screen and going downwards, in order actually. Oklahoma, it's been a wild season. I think if you know anything about championship runs, the biggest thing about championship runs and the season after and trying to get back there is that it takes a lot out of you. And then the next season, this season right now, as the reigning champs, you're gonna be banged up. You're gonna be injured. You're gonna have to ask everybody to step up and do something that they're probably uncomfortable doing. And that's the real test: is the regular season and getting everybody prepared for what might happen in the playoffs, where somebody might go down. This might happen. That might happen. We might be in a game 7 when we shouldn't be in a game 7. Everybody has to step up. Everybody has to step up for this Oklahoma City Thunder team. And I'm not the biggest fan of them. I'm not the biggest fan of Shea as an MVP, but their dominance is sort of undeniable at this point. I mean, they could drop down to the 2 seed if San Antonio keeps chipping away at them. They've been on their backside for a long time. Essentially, the whole second half of the season, they've been lurking. Um, the Spurs and Oklahoma are definitively the best teams in this conference. Um, One was pretty obvious in Oklahoma, and then the one who I wasn't too high on, but they ended up being really high, is the Spurs. We'll talk about them in a second. But Oklahoma, a very good job. Great coaching by Mark Daigneault. Um, I have to give him his flowers as a coach. It's easy to do it when everybody's healthy, and you have the MVP and you have like 2 All-Stars. It's easy. It's easy to be a coach, right? That's what they always said about. That's what they always said about Steve Kerr. It's easy to be a coach when like you got 2 All-Stars and you just go out there, roll out the ball, and let the MVP do everything. It's harder when everybody's injured, and it's harder when you have to pull guys off the bench and be like, "Hey, we've been doing this in practice for the last 3 months. Go out there and do it in the game now. We need it right now." And they do go do it, and they believe you, and that's great coaching. So props to Mark Daigneault above all else for this season. Above all else, Shea's been out, J Dub's been out, Chet's been out. There's been multiple people out. They've rolled out lineups where if you didn't watch the finals, you're like, who is this guy? But they played in the finals, so they have experience, and they've really shown their experience, and they've gained a lot of experience this year, I think. And if they do win this year, it's going to be credit to them gaining that experience in the regular season for sure. Moving on to the Spurs, um, clinching a playoff spot for the first time in a little while here. The rebuild was swift. It was easy. You got Victor Wembanyama, you got Dylan Harper, you got Stephon Castle, you got De'Aaron Fox, you got names upon names upon names. And I was very skeptical at the beginning of the season, like, hey, all these names are gonna be able to play together. And by they've been able to play together, and it's been beautiful at times. And with the times without Wemby, I've been sort of you hopefully you don't have to experience that again this season. But the times with Wemby, the stuff he does, the stuff De'Aaron Fox is doing at this mature level of his game, as somebody who watched De'Aaron Fox come into this league and be all speed and just all downforce and downhill aggressiveness see him just tweak his game a little bit to incorporate guys like Dylan Harper, like Stephon Castle, has been amazing, and I'm really impressed with the two top players, which is Wemby and De'Aaron Fox. They've blown me away this season, and every time I watch them, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a close game finally. And even when it is a close game, they they, they throw the punches when they need to, you know, right when they need to. It's not too early, it's not too late. They throw them right at the exact time, and I think that's one of the other reasons why they've been very successful against the team above them right now, which is Oklahoma. So we'll see what happens there. We're gonna have to wait for that matchup. Um, they don't. I don't think they play each other again. I would be very surprised if they play each other. We have to wait for that. This would have to be a yeah. This would have to be a final a Western Conference Finals matchup. Or yeah, yeah. No, no. Yeah, maybe I don't know. I'd have to look at the bracket. But we're not gonna see this again to the playoffs. So hopefully, I would love to see a 7 game series of that. Moving on to the teams that are in the mix, that are jockeying for position. And I said this, I theorized this in the preseason prediction. I was like, it's going to be really close in the West. And when it's close, teams going to be jockeying for position. There's going to be a team that sneaks in there that shouldn't be in there. There's going to be a team that's really low that shouldn't be really low. And there's all of that in here. The Lakers, been really good, been amazing with or without LeBron. When it's just Austin Reeves and Luca, DeAndre has sort of evolved. I'm gonna have to see it for an extended period of time to believe it, but he's evolved. He's gone up a little bit of a level, accepting his role. Him and Luca working very well together. That's all Luca needs is a just a how do you say it? A serviceable big. That's all he needs. Just go out there, catch a couple lobs, get a rebound, kick it back out. That's all I need. That's all Luca needs, and that's what he's been getting. I want to shout out JJ Redick. JJ Redick gets a lot of shit. He gets a lot of bad stuff said about him. I think recovering the way they have in the second half of the season, it's not all on JJ Redick, but JJ Redick has found something in the lineups that he's running. Using Marcus Smart, maybe a little bit too much, but at times it's paid off. Using Luke Kennard as the lone sniper on this team, essentially, sort of reeling back in the Jared Vanderbilt minutes, using Rui Hachimura when you need to, using Jackson Hayes when you need to. Really good coaching by JJ Redick and helping propelling this Lakers team up to here. And if they can stay at 3, that might be their best finish in a long time, in like a hot minute. So that'd be really good for them. Denver Nuggets, as you can see, bottom right of your screen, I specifically picked a picture of their starting 5 because that's all they need. That's all they need right now. This team is so good when they just have like 4 or 3 of them out there. When they have all 5, those minutes that we saw very briefly when Nikola Jokic came back, or before he got injured and when he came back, those brief, I think it was like maybe a less than 10 game sample size where everybody was healthy, was amazing. This is still my favorite team in the West. Yeah, I would say they're my favorite team in the West. Yeah. Um, they just need to be healthy. Everything they do is great. Nikola Jokic is great. Aaron Gordon was great the other night when I watched them. Jamal Murray was great. Um, Christian Brown, I'm not completely sold on this year. Last year was way better than this year. He needs to show he's worth that money. And Peyton Watson, he's not back yet, but when he is, this team will be good. I'm not worried about them one bit. They need to get healthy though, like in the next couple weeks, please. Minnesota without Anthony Edwards. Doing okay enough. If there was a team that I could see drop, it would be Minnesota, and that would help the Rockets out immensely, who's right below them. It may even help Phoenix. I'm I'm not completely. I've never been sold on a team of Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle, and now that you kind of have to accept that that's the team for at least this moment right now, and you get a couple Jaden McDaniels games every now and then. You do have Io, who's really good. Still have Dante, but I would not be surprised if this team dropped at all. And that would be a saving grace for the Rockets, who's right below them. Who I've done enough talking about the Rockets. You guys don't want to hear me say my whole spiel for the like the fifth time. They they, they need something. There's something missing, and it's the attitude, and they don't have an attitude. I've went through this in my last video that I talked about them. Every other team in the West, at the top of the West, has something going for them. The Rockets don't really have anything going for them. Even the team below them, the Phoenix Suns, who are 40 and 33, have something going for them. They got Jalen Green, they got Devin Booker, you know. They got Dylan Brooks, who may or may not be back. I don't know when he's gonna be back. I hope he comes back. Um, it's really weird for the Rockets. And moving on to the Phoenix Suns, 40 and 33. They're my surprise team of the year. I've been so pleasantly surprised by this team. I was so pleasantly surprised watching Dylan Brooks play basketball. Um, Jalen Green's back. He's been a revelation for them. I was very critical of him um, earlier in the first half of the season when he wasn't playing, when he got injured. He wasn't playing his best basketball. It looked kind of And then once he hit that, he had a game winner at some point a couple months ago. And that flipped the switch. That really was like, okay, now he's here. Now he's playing really competitive, really good basketball. And he's found, I don't want to say he's found a home, but he's found a temporary home. Put some furniture, instead of just getting a house and renting it, buy a house. Put some furniture in it. Get comfortable. I think that's where Jalen Green is at. And he works particularly well with Devin Booker in the backcourt. And I didn't think I'd like that backcourt, but I kind of do. I kind of do. Um, they're in the play-in though, as of right now, so this could shift by the end of the week. But right now they play the Clippers in the play-in. Um, I would definitely pick fully healthy. I would pick the Phoenix Suns over the Clippers because it takes one like bad Kawhi game for this Clippers team to fall apart. Darius Garland does have some playoff experience, but I don't know if you can hide him that well in a matchup with Phoenix. It's gonna be really tough. I'm gonna take Phoenix, and then below the Clippers, who are 36 and 36, 500 on the season, are the Blazers at 36 and 37, and the Golden State Warriors at 34 and 38. Um, Sadly, the Golden State Warriors had a devastating injury to one of their players, Moses Moody. It's a gruesome injury. He messed up his knee. He's going to be out till 2028, which is so unfortunate. That being said, however, um, and I've said this about the Warriors already, previous to the Moses Moody thing, but it's time to sit down Steph Curry for the season. You ain't going nowhere. You're not doing anything. It's over. It's actually over. It's never been more over than it is right now. Not just for the season, but maybe as a collective group. This Warriors thing is no more. It's sad. Uh, Dynasties don't go out with a bang. They usually go out with a whimper, and this is a devastating whimper. And I do that preamble to tell you, they would play the Blazers in a play-in situation, and no Steph Curry, um, having to watch Brandon Podziemski play basketball in a Warriors jersey against this Portland Trailblazers team. Somehow the Warriors would find a way to choke this game. I just know it. So I'm giving this to the Blazers. So the 7 and 8 seed effectively after this hypothetical play-in situation would be Phoenix and Portland. And Phoenix and Portland would play a combination of Oklahoma and the Spurs, and that's a pretty interesting game. For anybody who has to play the Suns, is pretty interesting. I'm not saying it's gonna be a 7 game series, but it'd be pretty interesting. Gonna get their toes wet for sure in the first round. If they have to play Phoenix, or in a even weirder scenario where they have to play the Clippers. I think. So yeah, that's it. That's that video. That's my sort of last 10 games predictions. Who could sink? Who could fall? Um, what what my thoughts were at the beginning of the season a little bit, and what teams have proved me wrong, and a lot of teams have proved me wrong, and I do like looking back on my predictions and being right, and also it's part of the game, part of what I do, being wrong. So yeah, that's it. That's the video. The outro should be playing right now. Click the video on the left. It's probably something you'd like. Click it. I don't know what it could be. It could be anything. Just click it. Check it out. It's another video you can watch. Top right of your screen. Um, Road to the NBA draft this year. There's one more video to be made in that. I will probably make that this week at some point, and that playlist will be completed. Watch the other ones that are there: Cameron Boozer, Darren Peterson, Ahmed, um, Ahmed, yeah, that guy, Ahmed at Tennessee. And then what's the other guy? I can't think of the name. Cameron Boozer, Darren Peterson, AJ DeBansa, Nate Ahmet, all those guys. Check out the playlist, and in the middle of your screen right now is my little icon, my logo, my little logo. You click on that, a little subscribe button will pop up. You can hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. So yeah, do that stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.